Hey, this is Tim Reha. We're here backstage with a couple of special guests here. We have Scott Case, CEO of Startup America. Congratulations on getting that role.
Thank you.
And thanks so much for coming down. And then we have John Humblestad with Mobile Nation, who's here as well as a presenting company. So we wanted to take this opportunity and kind of learn about who you are and what your background is, and then look at the opportunity that you have and the challenges, and then to provide everybody out here some information on how to get involved.
Great, I'm happy to. So first off, I haven't really started my job as the CEO of Startup America Partnership just yet, and I'll start in 2 weeks. So I'm in a little bit of listening mode and trying to learn as much as I can about how entrepreneurs, and the reason I came here to demo is what are the types of things that entrepreneurs could use the greatest help with to be more successful. My background is I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, from as long as I can remember, whether it was cutting my neighbor's lawn to starting a company in college to ultimately starting Priceline.com with a whole team of, I was the founding chief technology officer, and I've played a role as an entrepreneur in everything that I've done. And so this opportunity to help elevate American entrepreneurship and the whole ecosystem in the United States is one that's really, really important to me personally, and I think it's really, really important for our country.
So what organizations are you working with to pull together I guess a power center? Is that what you're basically doing here?
Well, we have two big challenges in the partnership that we're going to focus on. The first is really elevating entrepreneurship in general to a whole nother level. How do we celebrate entrepreneurship? How do we recognize entrepreneurs as heroes? And how do we create an environment where everybody feels like they have a role to play in either being an entrepreneur, supporting an entrepreneur, understanding what it means to be an entrepreneur? A lot of people, my litmus is always, if you've ever stared down not being able to make payroll in 2 weeks, you know that you're being an entrepreneur. And so what does that mean? And how does that feel? And how do we drive that to a whole other level? So how do we celebrate entrepreneurship? And the second thing is to bring really, really strategic partners that can provide real value to real entrepreneurs. And so some of that are big companies, where big companies become great suppliers and they become great customers for smaller new companies. Yeah, and how do we bring those folks to the table? How do we rally some of the great, powerful networks that may be regionally oriented or sectorally oriented? How do we get them to scale so that there's more access to them? And how do we bring resources to the table to help them do that? And our role is, one part convener, one part catalyst to bring those pieces together. And we have the benefit of one of the largest, megaphones on the planet in the partnership with the White House, who's very focused on the public sector side of doing what government can, but to help elevate this for everyone.
Interesting. Hey, John, you had a couple questions there?
Yeah, so for us, we're originally an Australian company, now Palo Alto based. And for us, we invented elsewhere, but we came to America to commercialize. And I love that message of, USA Inc. Why is this such a good roadmap for entrepreneurs? And I think from our perspective, we're just so buzzed and excited by how your message of how to lift and support and celebrate this, because we look at America as the best at doing this compared to the rest of the world. So I then say to you, thank you, great, good example. How do you help us? And when we land, how do we help you guys?
Well, I think that the key thing is America is a fantastic place to start and build and grow a company. There is a natural ecosystem in some key areas regionally around the country, and certainly in key sectors. Our job is to figure out how to raise that up to a whole other level. How do we take our game to the next level so that we can position ourselves for long-term competitiveness? As it relates to companies that come here, whether you're started here or you come from anywhere else, part of what we're trying to figure out is, I'm going to turn the question around on you. What are your biggest challenges? Where do you face the biggest market and non-market barriers to your success? And what are the types of tools? I know from my observation of entrepreneurs and my own role as an advisor and an investor in them, I know that one of the key, most critical assets is how do you have a network around entrepreneurs? Because it's not just about the entrepreneur and the immediate people working on it. It's much, much bigger. And how can we foster better relationships and networks that can help support you so that you've got access to knowledge and experience? As I said earlier today on stage, you should be making new mistakes. That's what entrepreneurs should be focused on. And let's try to help you avoid the mistakes that everybody else has already made.
Yeah, and to many extent, you're absolutely right. For us, landing in a new country, the first thing we did was connect with people that know the country, know the laws, help us with those similar mistakes that people make. It could be from payroll to how do I hire, where do I register, But one of the big ones for us is the funding piece. You have to be here, you have to be in Silicon Valley, you have to be recognised as absolutely committed to it. So that's one of the things that's really important, and we've done before in other startups we've brought here. So you just have to put the stamp there and say, we're here, we are absolutely here, we have a different accent, we make funnier jokes, but that's the way the world goes.
I think that your point on funding, though, is a really interesting one, because what you really are saying is what I think is oftentimes a barrier for entrepreneurs. So I'll hear an entrepreneur say, all I need is capital. The reality is that you'd have the capital if that was all you needed, right? So what you've just described is you've got to establish a presence here, and that's not just a physical presence, right? That's a reputational presence.
Yeah.
And how do you use your existing network from Australia or anywhere else in the world, link that up to the network that you're building here, and create a profile for yourself and for your business here? And it's not only you as the entrepreneur, but it's also your business, because that's what will lead to capital. And so oftentimes when I talk to entrepreneurs, it's not about the capital. So put that aside for a second. What are the things that you're not doing that aren't creating a platform for you to attract the kind of network you need to be falling all over themselves to follow you and to fund you? I don't know if that...
And yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly why we're sitting next to you on a couch at Demo. It
Exactly.
doesn't get better than that,
No, I think you're
Put
in
the
exactly the
footprint
right
there.
place, and use that as a mechanism to elevate your brand and what you're trying to accomplish. And that's what we need to do, is to figure out as a country, how do we create more opportunities to elevate and deliver on that same premise? That how do we make it easier for you to create that profile? And the amazing part about where we are right now in the sort of social graph that's existed is that we should be in a place where we can use those relationships and those tools to do it much, much more quickly, right?
Yeah, so take it from a local level, a grassroots local level, and then expand.
And try to reduce what I describe, especially in a conference like this, as the serendipity factor, right?
Yeah.
What you want to do is to figure out how to dramatically reduce the need for accidents to happen. You want to try to increase the chances of relevancy to happen. So what Demo works as is your opportunity to be on stage. There's a whole group of people out there who could be relevant to you. There might only be one person in the entire room that's maximally relevant to you, but you better figure out how to get in front of them. That's the opportunity. How do we maximize the chances of that success on a national scale?
It's putting it on steroids.
Yeah, take it to a whole nother level.
So we have a couple students from Washington State University here. We're mentoring them, and Demo provided them with internships. What's your message to students who are really kind of green and they're getting their mind wrapped around entrepreneurship and from your experience with Priceline, what can help them?
Well, when I started my first company in college, and I was actually invited in to participate in the startup of a company by a professor, and what I realized through that process was find somebody, probably one or two people that you can learn from. Right? Your job right now may not be to actually start your first company. It might be to go find yourself in somebody else's startup and gain some real experience. Now, that's not to say that there isn't another Mark Zuckerberg out there who's at 20, ready to go and launch a business. But I think what you'll find is you're still in that learning mode, and you can experience things through the process of being a startup. If you do decide to start your own company, find some really amazing people, the gray hairs that are around you. And that could be relatives of yours, that could be people in your local geographic community, that could be professors at your school. There's nothing that replaces the level of experience. All those mistakes that you've already made as a business owner, those need to be laid out, and really, really listening to those people. That would be my second piece. They've already made all of those mistakes. Listen to them and try to really understand why what they're sharing with you might apply to what you're trying to accomplish. And then I guess the last piece is go for it. At some point you got to take a risk and get yourself out there. But if you're unsure about what you want to do, partner with somebody and really learn from them. Find a great set of mentors that can help you, and local people that can help you minimize frankly the stupid mistakes, and really focus on the really grand ones.
And part of that is you're always trying to cast a bigger shadow. So the grander the mistake you make, you can't help, right? It is part of it. Right?
Well, you know, a dear friend and mentor of mine, you know, used to say, "Go big or stay home."
Go bigger.
And so
That's a skiing term.
Yeah.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, what you want to do is to be able to figure out, okay, what does it mean to go big for you?
Yeah.
And big might be I'm going to take over my whole, my whole college campus with something, and big might be I'm going to do something global. But big thinkers.
So we're going to take some of Scott's messages and help create internships for the students that are here with some of the demo companies. I know John's offered one of those, and we want to thank you for your time.
Great.
And so what's next for you?
We're looking for entrepreneurs, and we're looking
Okay.
for interns, and we're looking for partners.
So how do people connect right now?
Visit the startupamericapartnership.org website. It's in the very early stages of development. I think we finally getting our blog up today.
Oh,
so you
really?
can look at some blog posts around this stuff. And really, there's a set of resources that are already there. There's also, we're soliciting feedback from folks. So if you've got particular ideas
Yeah.
or challenges that we can help overcome, fill out the forms and send them our way. And if you've got interested interns that want to come participate with us, send them
Yeah.
our way too, because we're always looking for people to help.
Okay,
Cool.
we'll do that.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for your
Thanks.
time.
Thanks for spending some time with me. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you.
Good.